friends, happy Monday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor. I'm a stay-at-home wife and mom, and I share What's for Dinner videos like this every Monday to hopefully motivate you to cook more for your family and maybe give you some new meal ideas. I think this is video number 400 of my What's for Dinner, if I have added all those videos up correctly. So that's 400 weeks of sharing these types of videos with you, which is a really long time. So if you need more meal ideas, the playlist of all 400 of those videos is always linked down below. You can check that out and kind of see the journey of What's for Dinners through the years. But I'm going to go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. Starting off with Friday night, we had stroganoff and peas and some buttered bread on the side. This is like a one-pot hamburger helper stroganoff type meal. It's really quick and simple to make, and my family loves it. It reminds me of my childhood when we ate a lot of hamburger helper growing up, and that is why we always have peas on the side of it, because that's what we always had as kids. And the buttered bread too, that was like a staple with every meal growing up. We always had a piece of buttered bread. Not only is it good, it also kind of stretches the meal, is something that I realize now as an adult. A little slice of bread can help fill you up. So that was our meal for Friday night, and I've made this many times, and the recipe for it will be linked down below. Saturday we had another family favorite, and this one is a crock-pot recipe. This is crock-pot Mississippi pulled pork. You start off with like a 2.5 pound chuck roast in the bottom of your crock-pot, and I sprinkle on half of a package of au jus gravy mix, half of a package of ranch seasoning, and then I am topping it with a whole bag of carrots that I have peeled and then chopped up, and then about a pound of potatoes that I have also chopped up. And then we're doing the remaining seasoning packets of the ranch and the au jus. We're adding on some pepperonchini peppers. These are sliced. You can also do banana peppers, and sometimes I do them whole, sometimes I do a slice. Lately, Aldi has them sliced, so that's what I've been putting in there. I do about half the jar of them, and then a little bit of the juice, and then a stick of butter sliced up, put that on top, and then I cooked this on high for about 8.5 hours. If I don't cook it on high, then I find the meat doesn't get like super tender. So that is why I do it on high. And then to go with it, we just have some white rice on the side. My family loves some white rice, so always gotta have this on top of that. And it is definitely a family favorite. Now that it's cooling off, it's something that we will make many times over the fall and winter seasons. The next night I did like a throw together kind of like pizza pasta thing. I didn't really have a recipe for this. I was just kind of winging it. I've got some of our favorite pasta from Trader Joe's here. It's a tricolor pasta, and I have cooked that up according to the package directions in some salted water, drained it, and added it to a 9x13-inch pan. And then to that I'm adding in a jar of marinara, and I made sure to rinse that with a little bit of water. And then I'm adding in a couple seasonings to kind of doctor up the sauce. I think I did some garlic powder, onion powder, red pepper flakes, and some Italian seasoning. I gave that a good mix, got all the pasta coated with the sauce, and then I spread on some mozzarella cheese over the top, and then I'm going to layer that with some pepperoni all over the top. And then this went in the oven on 375 for about 25 to 30 minutes until the pepperoni started to crisp up a little bit and the cheese got nice and melty. And I served this with some steamed broccoli on the side, and it was really good. Easy way to get dinner on the table, and I didn't really have to cook any meat. I had to cook the pasta and then just throw it all together because the meat was just pepperoni. And you could add like ground beef or something to that. I have done that with recipes in the past, but I just felt like keeping it really simple and cheap this night. Monday night we had burgers, and these burgers was some like frozen pre-portioned out burgers from Woodman's. I don't remember if we hauled them or not. It was $1.99 for 2 burgers, and they were venison and beef burgers, and I cooked them up in the cast iron pan, and they were just not great. I don't know what it was. I've had venison before. I don't think I've ever had venison and beef mixed together. And we were just not a fan of those burgers. I would not buy them again, but we ate them. They were edible enough to eat. And then we had some baked beans on the side and some pickles, and yeah, everybody just had burgers on these like artisan buns from Aldi. They're pretty good. We've been liking those lately instead of the brioche buns. They're also cheaper than the brioche buns, so that definitely helps. But yeah, that was dinner for Monday. Tuesday we had like wonton or dumpling soup. This I usually make with the mini chicken cilantro wontons from Trader Joe's, but I forgot to get those this time. So we're going to use something else from Aldi that I'll show you later. But I'm starting off by heating up a little bit of oil, and then I'm adding in 2 carrots that I have peeled and then diced pretty thinly, and then also the white parts of some green onions that I diced really thinly too. And I'm just going to cook those up for a couple of minutes until they start to get tender. And then I added in some minced garlic and let that cook for like 30 seconds before adding in my broth. For the broth, I do equal parts chicken broth and then the miso ginger broth from Trader Joe's. The exact measurements for everything will be listed out down below. This is definitely a favorite recipe. Once my broth is in there, then I'm going to turn this to like a medium high and let that simmer for like 10 to 15 minutes until the carrots are all the way tender. Like they were kind of getting tender before, but now we're going to let them simmer and get nice and soft. And once that has happened, you want to test them, make sure, and then you can add in your wontons, or I am using chicken pot stickers from Aldi since I did not buy the mini chicken cilantro wontons from Trader Joe's. I don't know what I was thinking. That is like a staple, a favorite that I always buy when we go there. And with it being an hour away now, like it's so rare that I'm going to go. So I should have bought some, but I forgot. So next time I'll definitely have to. So you just dump those in and then continue simmering this for like 5 minutes until those are cooked. You will know that they're cooked when they start to float to the top. And then you can serve this. I made some egg rolls in the air fryer, and then I like to put the green parts of the green onion in my soup as well as some of the chili onion crunch from Trader Joe's to give it some spice because I love it spicy. I love a hot and spicy broth. I need to make this again since the kids are sick right now, but I don't have any more pot stickers on hand, I don't think. But we love this, except for Andy. He doesn't like it as much. He liked it more this time, I think, because he had some of that chili onion crunch in it and it was really spicy for him too. And he's been liking everything really spicy. So, yeah, I think he liked it more this time. It's so good though. The next night we had shrimp and grits, which before I made this and like shopping for grits, I was like, oh crap, grits aren't something you can just find at like Aldi here. It's not a common food up here, but of course Walmart has it. So I did get grits at Walmart. They don't even have like generic Walmart brand grits. I don't know if that's a thing everywhere. They only had Walmart brand grits in like the single serve pouches, not in like a canister of it. So I just got the name brand grits. But to start off, I am cooking up half a pack of bacon. I've cut it with my kitchen shears and I'm just gonna cook that up until it's completely done and crispy. And then I am going to remove that from the pan. I scooped it out, and then I also scooped out some of the bacon grease too. I didn't need all of that in there. But once that's out, then I'm going to add in my shrimp. I've got a pound of shrimp here, and I'm seasoning that all over with some Cajun seasoning and some cayenne pepper. And that's going to cook really fast, like, I don't know, like 3 to 5 minutes per side, at like 3 minutes per side, and then it's like done. And then you remove that from the pan as well. And then I added in some red pepper, some whites of the green onion, and let that cook for a couple minutes, start to get tender. And then I'm going to add in some minced garlic, stir that around for a couple seconds, let it get nice and fragrant. And then I added in chicken broth, Worcestershire sauce, and lemon juice. Give that a good stir, let it simmer for a minute, add back in my shrimp and bacon, and then let that simmer together to kind of like reheat the shrimp and the bacon. While all that was cooking and I was doing all that, I was also preparing the grits to the side, which it's kind of a lot of like back and forth, but the grits are pretty easy. You bring the water to a boil, you basically cook it according to the package directions, add the amount of salt and grits you need. But then with this recipe, the key thing is adding a splash of milk or heavy cream. I usually just do milk because it's what I have on hand. adding in a couple tablespoons of butter, and then adding in some sharp cheddar cheese. And we actually had this like roasted red pepper sharp cheddar Gruyere cheese that we had bought on like clearance. Or it's like a cheap cut because it's like the ends of the cheese. So we bought that to try it, and it's really good. It's like sharp cheddary. So I put that in the grits, and it was really, really good. It was so rich and so good. And I serve mine with some of the green parts of the green onion on mine. Elijah decided to try some of that on his too. But this is just such a good, comforting, delicious meal that we all love. And finally, for the last meal of the week, we had this like Greek sheet pan meal and some falafel and potatoes on the side because Elijah doesn't like zucchini. So I wasn't really following a recipe for this. I did get the ideas of like what to use for it from a recipe, but that recipe like had different cooking times and different like seasonings and stuff. So I have 2 zucchinis here that I've cut up, a bell pepper, and some grape tomatoes that I've halved, and then I have 2 chicken breasts that I have cut in half horizontally so that they're thin. I am covering everything with some avocado oil, and then I am putting on this Greek seasoning blend or Mediterranean seasoning blend. I don't remember. It's the Badia one, and I think it's Mediterranean. And then salt and pepper over everything, both sides of the chicken, everything. And then this went in the oven on 425 for about 25 minutes. While that was cooking, I cooked up some potatoes in the air fryer because Elijah does not like zucchini. I don't even think he tried it this time. The only thing he ate from that sheet pan meal was the chicken and the peppers. And then I also made some falafel with the box falafel mix. Made that on the stove at the same time as well. And then I topped everything with some feta cheese. And this was delicious. It was so good. And we all loved it. But that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. It is time for this week's member shoutouts. So shout out to all of you who are my channel members. I just want to say thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot. If you don't know, you can go down below and become a channel member for $1.99 a month. If you don't see it down there, make sure you log into YouTube on a browser, and then you can get more info on that on my channel page or underneath this video. That is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave me a thumbs up. Let me know down below if you plan on trying any of these recipes. I hope you all have a great week, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!